What are the most common mistakes I see people making when first starting a carnivore diet? And what are some easy solutions that people could implement if they want to fix these things so that they don't quit before the miracle happens? Stay tuned to find out. Welcome back, my friends. My name is Sarah. I am known as Carnivore Yogi. Thank you so much for being here and clicking on today's video. Today, I want to talk about 7 mistakes I commonly see that people make when first starting a carnivore diet. Now, please, if I miss something, if you are a seasoned carnivore veteran or someone who's been on a meat-based diet for a while, feel free to comment below if I missed something, because I'm sure that you guys have awesome ideas and feedback as well. And this is going to be a little bit of a shorter video, not a long half-hour video or anything like that, just because I want to get this message out in a simple way. Now, if you're new here, my name is Sarah. I am a certified nutrition coach as well as a quantum health coach. I have coached hundreds of people over the last 3.5 years on an animal-based or carnivore diet way of eating. I also do coach people who do a ketogenic diet. So let's talk about some of these mistakes. And then as I talk about them, I'll talk about solutions that you can easily implement. The first one is going to be eating enough fat. Now, there is a huge movement to eat a high protein, lower fat diet. And while I think that can work if you are eating carbohydrates along with that, I think it can be very detrimental to people trying to eat a carnivore diet, because your body wants to run on fat. And if you're not eating enough fat, it's going to be very stressful for your body to undergo that process. Now, every time I mention this, I get people who get extremely mad. But there's a scientist, his name was Stephenson, and I'll put a link to an article in the information section below, but he actually did the first long-term study, well, a year-long study on the carnivore diet. He lived with the Inuit, and he also did inpatient in a hospital for a year where he only ate meat. One of the things that he discovered when living with the Inuit that they specifically told him, and other cultures that have only subsided on meat also told Stephenson, is that if you don't eat enough fat, you will get ill and the diet won't work. You will not feel good. And he also discovered that when he was doing his year-long stint in a hospital under supervision. So this is something I know a lot of people are afraid to eat fat. They think it's going to make them fat. I fell prey to that and eventually ended up having issues with my sleep, my hormones. I lost my menstrual cycle. And I see this happen with a lot of women who come to the carnivore diet and just want to lose weight. They're afraid of the fat and they lose their cycle, which is a warning sign that your hormones do not have enough fat to be supported. So beef fat, beef suet, butter, ghee, if you tolerate those. You can also have duck fat, pork fat, lard, all of those things, or just eat really fatty cuts of meat. Make sure that you get enough to support your hormones. The second mistake I see people making is not adding electrolytes. And I know a lot of long-term carnivores, I'm friends with some of them, that did not add electrolytes in when they first started carnivore, and they're doing fine now. Their bodies have adapted. But a lot of them will talk to you about horrible leg cramps and some of the adaptation that they did go through when they first began. Some may not talk about that, but some of them that I'm friends with have talked about that. I've heard them talk about it. And honestly, in my coaching business and talking with all of these people, there are people that have gone to the hospital before because their sodium has been low or their potassium has been low or even their magnesium. I know of one person who actually had a heart attack because they didn't have enough magnesium. And when you're switching over to a diet that does not have carbohydrates, it doesn't even have to be carnivore, it can be a ketogenic diet, your body loses that ability to really hold on to minerals as efficiently because carbs make your body hold on to more water. So if you have a mineral imbalance going into the carnivore diet, which most people really do have mineral imbalances and have no idea, they can't really tell when they're eating carbs because the body is holding on to so much water. But when you actually begin to lose that water, people really quickly will have leg cramps, fatigue, issues with heart palpitations. All these can be electrolyte issues and can be easily avoided by adding in sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Now, I will link in the information section below a full video I did about electrolytes and what I wish I knew when I first started a diet without carbohydrates. So make sure you check that out down below in the information section. Number 3, the third issue I see a lot of people struggle with on a carnivore diet is that they need some support for their gut. A lot of people come from a diet of a lot of plants and a little bit of meat. They're not going to be used to eating as much meat and fat that they're eating on a carnivore diet. And so adding in something like HCl before your meals and digestive enzymes halfway through your meals can be life-changing. If you're suffering with constipation or loose stools, because some people are just going to tend one way or the other, but it's the same problem. It's low stomach acid and low enzymatic function. I really do encourage you to support yourself in the short term. It's not something you're going to have to do for the rest of your life, but while your body is adapting over. Now, I did not really support myself when I first started. I just suffered through it. But then about a year in, I started having issues with sleep and I just didn't feel as well. My energy wasn't as good. This, number one, was because I wasn't eating enough fat, but I also was not absorbing the nutrients and the minerals from my food as well as I could have. I also had to eat very early in the day or my sleep was absolutely wrecked. And so when I added in HCl and when I added in digestive enzymes, a lot of those issues went away. I was absorbing the nutrients as well as the minerals from my food better. I was also sleeping better. And so yeah, it was just a much better deal. I'm no longer taking HCl. I do take enzymes on the occasion. I do like them. And the ones I use, the HCl and enzymes I use, I'll put in the information section below for you guys in case you're experiencing any of those issues. I'll also put a playlist with my friend Steve Wright, who is a gut health expert, has been on the show multiple times, where we've talked about these issues. Oh, I hate to do this, but I want to jump back to number 2, the electrolytes, just super quick, because a lot of people are going to say, how come our ancestors didn't need electrolytes? Our ancestors drank mineral water from streams, lakes, and rivers, as well as drank blood. So that is how they got their minerals. Our soil was also not mineral and nutrient depleted the way that it is now. And so they were able to get a lot more of the minerals and nutrients from meat than we are today. So I just had to add that in because I know I'll get a comment about that somewhere down below. Number 4 is over-exercise. And I think that once you get adapted after about 6 or 8 weeks, you can go ham if you want to. You can exercise all you want. But when you're first adapting over, when you're first in that beginning phase, you don't want to put your body through too much stress. You don't want to be going to CrossFit at 5 o'clock in the morning when you're first starting the diet. You want to stick to more gentle things, more like time under tension type of weight workouts if you want to do those, walking. Just let your body have a chance to adapt over to a fat burning metabolism before you start really stressing it out. Which goes with my next point is just over stressing in general. Are you trying to do too much? Are you staying up late? Are you running around all over town? You have to, again, give your body, as you're adapting over to this lifestyle, rest. And so really ask yourself that question, am I doing too much? Am I overworking myself mentally, physically, all of those things? I think that we have to pay attention to that. Number 6 is going to be information overload. I know this is a tough one because there's a lot of really awesome people out there making videos, doing podcasts. When I first started it wasn't like that. There was Scott from Carnivore Cast. He's a friend of mine. He had a podcast. I listened to that all the time. I followed people who did carnivore, but there just wasn't this wealth of information the way that there is now. And so I think that it can be very helpful and very motivating to listen to success stories of other people, surrounding yourself with that energy. But then when you start getting into methodology and this, that, and the other, people can get this information overload and it will kind of cause this paralysis by analysis thing. And people just tend to get overwhelmed and they don't really know what the right thing to do is. So my whole message is keep it simple. Try not to overwork your mind with information. Kind of decide what you're going to do, get a plan. If you need a coach, there are a ton of amazing coaches out there now that can help walk you through and help you maybe see things that you can't. But don't overload yourself with too many gurus because a lot of people sound very, very, very certain about everything and very dogmatic and you think, oh, they've got the answer. I've made that mistake on my carnivore diet journey. So just don't overload yourself with information and people. Pick a plan, make a plan, get a coach if you need one, stick to it, and then put your blinders on and do it. The last thing that I see people doing is really ignoring the aspect of circadian rhythms. Now, I mentioned this in my last video. It's a new passion of mine as a quantum health coach to really help people understand the aspect of circadian rhythms. And if you want me to do a whole separate video on circadian rhythms, please comment below, let me know. But did you know that just 3 weeks of a disrupted circadian rhythm is actually going to lower your basal metabolic rate by 8%? So over a year, that equates to about a 13-pound weight gain. And I will put the link to that study in the information section below. So a lot of people may have issues losing weight, or maybe they've done carnivore for a while and they are stuck, they can't lose weight, or they've gained a little bit of weight. This is where we need to look, is the circadian aspect. So I'm doing a webinar in April, and you can sign up for that using the information section below. It's called Harnessing the Power of the Sun Safely to Supercharge Your Metabolism. And we're going to talk about all of these things. I've also already done 2 webinars this year, one about building your perfect quantum day, which is another one about circadian rhythms. And number 2 is all about building your perfect quantum plate, talking about leptin resistance, because that's a topic for another video, but a lot of people still need to work on their leptin even after they become carnivore. If they're having issues reaching satiety, leptin is where we need to look. So I will link all those webinars, those links in the information section below, but that's just another little thing that most people in this community don't talk about, and I want to continue having a conversation about these things. All right, guys, I was hoping to keep this under 10 minutes, which that obviously did not happen. Close. So I hope this was helpful. Again, if I did not mention something that you think is really helpful and crucial to beginners, please comment below. Let me know what that is. And I hope that you guys enjoy this video. Please subscribe, share it out, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.